Welcome to Black Conscious Nation, The Awakening. We are here again with our wonderful guest, Dr. Victor Accam. Dr. Accam, it's so good to have you here. A lot of people have been asking about you. We are so pleased to have you back here. How is everything going?
Very well, very well, very well.
Great,
That is
great.
great.
We have a lot of things to talk about. We're in a short little time here. We got the presidency. We got all the back and forth stuff, no policies, a whole host of things. But I believe you're going to walk us through a lot of these things here. But I do want to add something real quick. It is amazing where I see a lot of the black diaspora, they're running after both parties, but they're not looking for no policies. That is something we need to address here today. And we're not hating on nobody. If you're a Republican, so be it. If you're a Democrat, so be it. But we prefer that you were a independent. That way you have more of a influence in your power as for policies. And that too, Dr. Vidicom, you will expound on us. So without further ado, Dr. Vidicom, please take us in what we need to do to get more value in our vote.
Okay, thank you, thank you. I'm very happy to be here, and very happy to share this time with your great audience. Really, it's exciting to be here, and we are in exciting times.
Yes, we are.
Yes, and one of the things that we've talked about when I wrote the book, We Want Solutions. Um, it was an approach that uh, had come to mind because I looked at what people in the global south were going through under the democratic paradigm. And amazingly, it applies everywhere.
Mm,
People are not happy with the leaders that they vote for.
mm.
They actually give those leaders power. And when they get into office, they don't do what the people want them to do.
Wow.
So every once in a while, the people jump into the street to demonstrate, and they don't understand why their leaders are not listening to them.
Mm,
And you see it everywhere. There's demonstration everywhere. It doesn't matter whether it's in the global north here or in the global south in Africa
mm.
or somewhere else. It's the same thing over and over and over again. So that tells us that there is something very fundamental to how democracy should be approached that people are not doing in all of these places.
Mm.
And because of that, we are not getting the results that we want. And a lot of the times when we vote, our vote has a shelf life of 1 day.
Mm.
It doesn't, after that day, it's expired.
Mm.
And how do we expect to get something out of something that has expired? It doesn't work that way. And then I tried,
Tom, may I ask you a question here? Because I heard you say the shelf life is 1 day, but I read the book to a point, and I understand the how did that 1 day get there. What you are explaining that your book illustrates, and we want solutions on. Where's your book located now? So if somebody wants to purchase it,
it's on Amazon and eBay.
okay, great. In the book, it talks about, and correct me if I'm wrong, we show so much uh, um, hot for these politicians. We campaign, we go out there and do all the blogging, and we do everything, and they make no policy promises to us. And then when they get in office on our votes that we labor to get them in office, then after the first day, they don't know us anymore. Is that what you're saying?
Correct. Because what they have is two sets of policies. one set of policy that they have to follow is the policy between them and their financiers,
Mm,
their donors. And the other policy is the one that they want us to hear. That's between us and them.
mm,
And so once they are there, they have to follow the policies of their financiers. And we don't understand why they are not following our policies, because we don't control them.
mm,
Because we don't control them. Their financiers control them. And like I said before, when you have a dog, it's the one who holds the leash that controls the dog,
mm.
not you.
True, true.
And that's what I found again in the global south that applies to it seems to apply to everywhere. The people don't have control over their politicians. And why is it so? It is so because in some of these countries, they had three parties, in some of them, four parties, in
Mm,
some of them, two major parties. Now, these major parties are controlled by a few people at the top.
mm,
Their donors, the party structure. So when they have a representative who comes from their district wearing the jersey of a particular party and they vote for that representative, they believe that that representative is the one they are giving their power to, but they're actually giving their power to the party, not to the person in front of them.
mm.
So at the end of the day, for the most part, the person in front of them is going to be directed by the party, not you. So how do you expect them to do what you want when you don't control them?
So what I think I heard you say that um, people like me, the grassroots person in the neighborhood, was supporting the politician, getting them campaigning for them, getting their votes, um, and all that work I done. I don't control them because they're not loyal to me. They're loyal to somebody above them, a party.
Correct.
So they have to do the bidding of the party, not so much for the people.
Correct.
So
Correct.
how can we fix that part right there?
Yes. And that part is the key. And that is what is all across in the global south, global north, everywhere. That's the key to fix that part. How do we fix that part? Uh, it is what you call the independent vote.
Mm,
And there are two types of the independent vote. So far, the kind of independent vote we have been going for hasn't really yielded what we want. Why? Because that independent vote, a lot of the time, is also controlled.
mm,
So somebody goes independent and you don't finance them. They went independent themselves. So they go around looking for money. So let's say they go to the tobacco industry or they go to the coal industry and they finance them. Who controls them? Not you,
no, not me.
their donor.
The money people.
Correct. The key to fixing this is we in that neighborhood need to look for some outstanding person among us and sit down with them and tell them, we here will make you represent us.
Wow.
You choose the person. And when you put the terms, and we will tell you what we want. You don't tell us what you are going to be doing for us. We will tell you what we want you to do when we put you there. And if you don't do what we want, you probably will never go back in there again.
We remember.
Right. So we choose you. And when we choose you, we tell you what we want you to do, because every locality has its needs. When we need roads, some other locality needs water.
Mm-hmm.
Some other locality needs policing.
Yes.
So when we pick you, we want you to go look for roads to be made for us. So you constantly talk to us and we tell you how you vote when it comes to roads
Right.
for
Right.
us,
Wow.
right? And that is where aggregated self-interest comes in. So just imagine that all these different districts have picked their own person to go and represent them. At the end of the day, all these different groups with their own interests will have to come to a compromise.
Wow. Mm.
And the majority that gets the compromise, if it is water and the majority gets it, even though we wanted road, you will see that the water will satisfy a huge population of the people,
Yes. Yes.
because it was arrived at through consensus. And that consensus came from active participation by all these different districts owning their own representative,
Wow.
who they control and who has to listen to them. Because if they don't, they never get back in there again.
So let me look at this now, because what I think I heard you say, that's one for clarification. Let's just say I'm a young guy, 35 years old. I'm a rising star in the politics, and I am an independent, and I grew up in the neighborhood, so I'm grassroots. And then my community says, Gerald, we want to sponsor you. We want to help you get in office. But when you get in office, here's the things we want, because we will get you in office, because we got 6 million votes. There's no doubt you will get in office. But understand, these are the things you need to do, and you're responsible to us. You can play with your Republicans and your Democrat friends in the lobbying area, but when you come home, it's our business. You serve everybody, but you come from this party, okay?
Correct.
We're the party who funded you and put you there. And
Correct.
that's business. And it's not nothing wrong with that. We're not doing anything illegal. It's a sign of time. It's what's been happening a long time.
Correct.
Now, the key thing I've learned here, what you're saying, we're not doing that.
No, we are not. We're not doing that. Every election cycle, we give our vote away,
Mm,
and we give our vote to a party that we don't even know and who doesn't even know we exist.
mm,
And even
yes.
if they know we exist, we are nothing but an ATM machine,
Mm,
right?
mm,
You put the card in, you get votes.
mm.
That's what we are. We have no control,
None.
none, right? So that's why we need to own our own independent candidate. It could be a school teacher well known in the district. It
Right.
could be a coach well known. We know they are good people in the district, and we choose them. And even if what we want, when we put them there, they are constantly communicating with us.
Right. Right.
Look, this is what we want, but it looks like we are not going to get it. Then we'll tell them, you know what? Why don't you double up with those people from those other districts and see what we can get out of it?
Right. Right.
So that way, we are completely involved in our own governance.
Right.
At this point, we are not. We give the vote, we go to sleep, and we expect things to be done for us.
It ain't happening.
Doesn't happen. Democracy doesn't work like that. Democracy is governance of the people by the people for the people.
Yeah.
We cannot vote in a democracy, go to sleep. That means that we are not involved in the governance.
Right.
We have given out the governance to some few people to do it for us. Yet still, we want them to do things to help us.
Dr. Khan, I want to take a little tidbit here. What you're saying has been practiced for years. Well, let's look at the cigarette industry. Okay, they basically had politicians in their pocket. That's why they was able to move so much that they did. They came in the black community, gave free cigarettes out, free cigarettes, just to get you addicted, because at that time they did something with it to get you addicted. And now, guess what? They had a lawsuit, but guess what? The money they made doesn't is more than they have to pay out majority of the time. And somebody pockets their campaigns got funded. Now the campaign funding is not illegal, it's legal. Okay. If the cap is $30 million, I give you $30 million, but my hands holding this check. What did we talk about? What did we say? You will do these things. If you do not, I will remember you next term. Not
Correct.
just I, we. You'll
Correct.
never get in office again.
Correct. Correct. So we need to control the people we put into power, and that means getting somebody from our neighborhood who is not affiliated to any party. Their only affiliation is us,
Right.
because sometimes when and it's in the global south where you see a politician in office and they are thinking, when I lose the next election cycle, I need to get a cushy job to support myself. So they are going to do things in favor of the party so that when they get out of office, somebody in the party or the party will get them a cushy job. But then when they serve just us, there's no cushy job from anywhere. They'll be back in the neighborhood once
Yeah.
it's done,
Back in the hood.
back in the hood. We own them.
Yeah.
Right? So, in all democracies, in order for the people to be involved in the governance, you have to own completely the people you put into office. Then they report to you. Then you are involved in the governance and you direct how things should be done. When you do that, you will hardly go in the street to demonstrate because you know decisions that are made actually came from you.
Right. Right. Wow. And another thing I would say, and I just want to be clear: the Black Conscious Nation is a consciousness of the Black awakening. We don't have any anti anything. We don't have hate. We just have realistic data. Okay, so I want to look at Kamala Harris. Okay, Vice President Kamala Harris. She is now campaigning to be the president of the United States. People are dropping money all over the place. They don't drop money just because they like it. They drop money because, remember, when you get in there, you have a obligation. It's an unspoken situation. Let's be clear about that. And it's okay because it's legal. Okay, but I want to talk to the point about that the person we own that comes from our neighborhoods. Black consciousness prefer that them be black, but the truth of the matter is they don't have to be black. Just
No,
committed.
no, they don't have to be at all. And then the other thing that we have to realize is that when it comes to the executive office, which is the presidency, that's a national thing, right? That should not be our headache. Our business actually should be from the school board
Mm,
all the way to the Senate, to the lawmakers. Because when we own the lawmakers, we control the executive.
that's right.
We can impeach the executive and get them out.
Right.
So
So,
we
but
have the power, right? And the school board, they are the ones making decisions that are affecting our kids
mhm,
daily. So our ownership should just be at that point.
wow.
And if we do that, we don't it doesn't matter who is the president. It really doesn't matter. Anybody can be, that's fine.
So what you're saying, if I heard correctly, we're putting the presidency is important, but it's not the most important because our local cities and towns, DPW commissioner, the health department, and watch this, chiefs department, and the mayor, because most of the time the mayor selects the chief. Okay, if the mayor's corrupt, the chief's going to be corrupt, and we see that in all over this country in our neighborhoods. That somehow these rogue police officers are in the black area doing some wicked things, and nobody knows how that happened, but we know it was the level of political assignment where This person got a job because they knew somebody, that person knew a politician, and bang, bang, bang. I'm not hating it, but I just want our community straight. We in our community, as Dr. Victor Accam said, we need to be careful attention to our representative, to our city council, to our police chiefs, to our sanitation departments, DPW, our hospitals, those people who are in direct relationship with us on a daily basis. If they are not Black conscious or loyal to the community, we're in trouble. Now, I want to say this: Black conscious is good, but loyal to the community. Loyal to community means I'm here to serve the people. Okay, that's wonderful. I speak Black conscious because it's important that we are aware that it's a system set up to hold us back. But when we have the knowledge that you're giving us, Dr. Victor Accam, we can go forth because we don't play the game anymore by giving away free votes.
Correct. 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 And that's what our focus would be. A lot of the times on election cycles, you'll find people spending 90% of their time talking about presidency. And they have flipped the whole thing upside down. They have flipped their responsibility upside down, right? Their responsibility should be, again, from the local all the way to the Senate. That should take 90% of their time.
Yeah. If you listen to former President Trump, he makes it very clear the system's already in place. He says, let the states make the decision. That statement right there, he already has it in play that the governor, the district attorney, everybody's already in line in that state, all the way down to the police chief. So the bill that president wants to pass, the Senate wants to pass, and they're aligned with the governor, it goes straight down and it flows because they're connected as one. Okay, so it starts from the grassroots, which is the local, the city councilors, reps, and all the way up to the governor. If we don't watch those, we lose everything.
Yes. And that's where our time should go. Our time, everything, our money, everything. That's where it should go.
Right, right,
That's where it should go. Once we have that, whoever it is who is the president will fall in line.
right, right.
And that's what we're failing to do across the global south. They fail to do that. They don't own the people they vote for, and they don't understand why things don't go well for them. And things are not going well because they are not being responsible enough in voting the right way to serve them. But they are blaming their leaders. Their leaders didn't walk into the office. They put the leaders there.
Yeah.
But they did it in a wrong manner. And that's why they are getting wrong results.
It's amazing. I talk a lot about, not a lot, I have conversations about Vice President Kamala Harris. Um, not going back and forth whether she's Black or not is not the issue. It's policy. Okay. What is, as of yesterday, her and her running mate has no policy on it. Okay, what they're gonna do for anybody. And I heard word that it's supposed to come out sometime this week. But Dr. Victor Accam, if you have a sale in your store, and I'm walking by and I don't see any for sale signs or any advertisement, would I stop and look at your store? I would not. I keep moving. So how you expect me to follow somebody who's not even telling me what they're presenting? What is the sale price? What's going on here? And but yet I see so many of our diaspora following for them. I want to take this time also to talk to my African American Black men who are following Trump. Hoorah, hoorah, hoorah. What are you getting out of the deal? What's coming out of the policy for the Black diaspora? You have a lot of fire for this man. Okay, a lot of fire. I have concerns about him, as I have concerns about Vice President Kamala Harris. As I always say, they're both kissing cousins, the Democrat Republicans. but we must be business minded. We must be conscious enough to understand it's business, not emotion. Get your emotions out of it, pull them aside. This is what we need. This is what we're going to get. Now, unfortunately, Dr. Victor Accam, majority of these people who are following, especially Democrats, they're stone cold Democrats. They're just Democrat. There are some independent, no, quite a few independent black men who are following Trump. But you're saying earlier that we must own that person. But he will not yield to the black community because number one, we're not united. Number two, there's no financial power behind us that he will respect. So where's the substance that we can use as leverage on Trump?
But what this and it goes back to what I'm saying. We we shouldn't be focusing on the top.
Mhm.
We shouldn't be focusing on the top.
Okay.
If we want him to yield to us, then we have to own the lawmakers.
Mm. Okay.
If we own from down here up to the Senate and we have power there, then he will yield to the power we have.
Mm.
But we neglect that part and then go straight to him. He doesn't have to yield to us.
Mm. That's interesting.
So we
So
are flipping the whole thing.
yeah, yeah. And so it's kind of like a little setup if you want to look at it. We're and you look at the media, they're so focused on the next debate, so focused on this, and our mindset get, oh yes, the president debate, oh yeah, they're going back and forth, ooh, ooh. But behind the closed doors, they're sewing up all the senate, excuse me, the city council reps and the inner jobs for the city, and they're sewing those up because we're not watching where we are. We're looking beyond where we shouldn't be looking, and
Correct.
it's a setup for failure, in my opinion.
Correct. Right.
Yeah.
There's the tree, there's the roots that holds the tree up. We are focusing on the top of the tree and the leaves, and then we are leaving the roots for some people to own that.
Wow. Wow.
That's where we should be looking. Okay. If we want the president to do what we want him to do for us, our entire focus should go up to the lawmakers.
Right.
We shouldn't focus on him. We should just get that, and then that we get would make him do what we want.
And again, what you're saying is that it's important that we get somebody who we know. Because many times a politician may move in the neighborhood, and because they have a lot of suave talking, and the community comes around them and lifts them up and said, "This is going to be the one we want," but we know nothing about them. We don't know their voting history. We don't know about their history. We just because they're black or they're Latino, we want to push them up and high, represent us, but we know nothing about them. Sickening.
Yes, we want to look in the neighborhood. We know our neighborhood and we know who is and who is not.
Right. Right.
We
Yes.
know. Nobody has to tell us. Those are the people we approach
Mm.
and we tell them, look, this is what we want to do. We want you to represent us.
Wow.
Yes or no. If no, we go to the next one, right? They don't have to come to us. We have to go to them.
Right.
We have to choose who we want and we put them there. Somebody should not come to us for us to put them there.
Mm.
They have their own agenda.
Right.
We have to choose.
Mm.
We are flipping the whole thing, and that's why we are not getting results.
Wow. So basically, we have to be more strategic, intelligent with our resources, our votes, and how we handle our business in our local cities and towns. Um, it's important. Get to know your city councilors, aldermen, whatever it may be, your mayor, your police chiefs. Get to know them by face and by name. Go to the city council meetings. That's
Correct.
one of the things we do not do. Go to the school committee meetings. Very important because he who controls the mind of the child controls the destiny of the human being. We got to understand that. If we have a bunch of people who are not, in my opinion, black consciousness, about our children, understanding who they are. Okay, you can be white and still understand that these children are great and they have great destinies. But if your mindset is said, these kids will be never be nothing, and you come in and you teach nothing and you get paid well. Well, we have a problem with that. That's why we as parents should be at the school committee, and we don't see any product coming out of our children. We need to be removing somebody ASAP. And
Correct.
that's what you're talking about, Dr. Victor Khan.
Correct. We have to be very involved. We the decisions they make, they have to come and ask us. But the way we are doing it now is the other way.
Hmm.
They make their decisions, and we don't understand why those decisions did not go our way because we're never involved. We're never involved. We are worried about what should not concern us.
I'm
And
gonna go
that's
away. Look, I'm gonna go back to the scenario where I should be going. But I gotta go back to the presidency. It's a dog and pony show. Listen to both of them. I am looking forward to the debate because I want to see how this goes. Again, when this debate does happen, we'll see what the policies are. But again, like you're saying, they can have policy on the federal, but how does it come affect us down in the local? Okay. Now we understand in the civil rights movement, those who grew up in it, the federal government can pass all the laws they want, but the state, they really will fight if they don't want to, they don't agree with that law. They will fight it, resist it, and the federal government had to take this certain cities and towns and states to court because they define a federal order. Now, only force of law that I've really seen, that could be wrong. You can correct me in the chat if you can. That only thing I've seen the federal government do to force people in the different cities, towns, and states is threaten taking funding away from them. Then either they move or they say we're still not going to do it. Then maybe later down the line they'll try to come down with some legalities. But most of the time is a verbiage, and then removing the finance, then maybe legal ramifications. That's something we must understand, family, that we cannot do the same status quo. We got to waken up. We are totally intelligent, but we're walking with too much emotion. Okay, too much emotion. Yes, Kamala Harris looks like me, but what is she going to do for me, our people, and the whole holistically of human beings? I will never forget my people. We'll have to be taken care of. We've been overlooked. The 1964 Civil Rights Bill, okay, if you read it, everybody was involved in that, including us. Watch this. If you read this 1964 Civil Rights Bill and you see all the communities that were in that bill, every one of those communities doing far better than the black community. That's because we're not taking authority with our vote. As Dr. Victor Combs teaching us, if we if we own the politician, hold them accountable to our demands as the community, and the community, it can be just my town I'm in. It can be black, whatever, whatever. But our community is saying this is what we want here, and we're holding you accountable. We're putting you up there, and you shall do what we summoned you to do. That's it. Okay. And if they don't do it next term, you never get back in again. And you try it again 4 years after that, we have good memory. That's it.
correct. Correct. And that's how we should go. And in all democracies, you got to be involved.
Yeah.
And the thing is, when you talk about the funding, when we choose our own person and funding is withheld from them, we would understand it
Mm.
because we're involved. But if we don't, when funding is withheld from them, we'll blame them for the hardships we are going through. We won't understand because we're not involved.
Right. Right.
So
So,
democracy is about being involved in your governance,
mhm.
not voting and going to sleep.
Mhm.
You have to be part of it. You have to control who represents you. They have to come and ask you every time they have to vote for anything, and you tell them what to do. And that is through an independent candidate that you choose, not who presents themselves to you.
I like how you're saying you choose. It sounds singular, but it's plural. It's the community saying,
Correct.
we chose you.
Correct.
And you, in fact, we all on speed dial. If two one of us on speed dial and we call you, you shall answer.
Correct.
Okay, because we calling is a reason. Okay, you need to pull yourself out of the lobby. Come on down. What's going on? You need to hear our straightforward situation. We want change. We want solutions. Dr. Victor Com, I just want to plug your book again. This is the book, We Want Solutions by Dr. Victor Com. Dr. Victor Com, once again, tell them where they can buy your book.
It's on Amazon and eBay, so
Right,
they can get it there.
right, right. And that's great because also I want to say we need you to like, share, and subscribe. At this time right now, thumbs up, like, share, and subscribe. It's best that you can do that right now so you won't forget. Do it right now. Like, share, and subscribe. Dr. Victor Com, in our last 5 minutes, walk us through what you want us to hear in these last 5 minutes to speak to your people.
For these few minutes left, I'll just sum up what we've been talking about, and that is in any democracy, we need to be involved in our governance. And the way we can be involved in our governance is to control who represents us. And in order to control who represents us, they have to be an independent candidate chosen by us from our community to represent us. They cannot depend on any party but on us. We don't have to be too worried and spend most of our time on the executive office. Our worry should be from the local government side, school board, all the way to the lawmakers. That's where we would have power. If we have power there, everything that affects our lives day to day on a daily basis, we will have control over. And we would also control the executive office because we control the lawmakers. That's what I can say.
Dr. Vidicom, again, we so much appreciate your presence and your knowledge, your wisdom, and your guidance for the Black diaspora and those other who are in the community. Your knowledge, your book is not just for the Black diaspora, it's for anybody in the community, Global South or North, to gain knowledge, how to gain a political astuteness in your vote. No longer shall we give free votes. No longer shall we give free votes. Votes must come with a condition. On this note, I want to say, Dr. Vidicom, again, thank you from Black Conscious Nation. We so greatly appreciate your wisdom. And family, again, buy his book, We Want Solutions. And please, thumbs up, share, and subscribe on the Black Conscious Nation station. And come back again. Be well now.
Thank you. See you.